So there's a fascinating question that I ask myself, and I've asked other people their thoughts on this. It's a question I want to ask you and pose to you all today and share some of my thoughts on. And it has to do with what's more important for success? Is it hard work or is it talent? It's a good question. I'm sure it's one that many of us have found asking ourselves at least once, if not more, probably more. Humans seem to be innately drawn to this question because it's one of the most fascinating and thought-provoking questions that we can ask ourselves in comparing hard work as a standalone from talent, and whether or not talent has a greater impact on our ability to get what we want from society, or the hard work component does. So, from where I grew up and from what I saw in high school, I think high school is a good age to pull this question from, because that's when people start to form more into their adult selves, even if they're not full-grown adults yet, which I would definitely agree that they're not full-grown adults yet. And you could see instances within high school, which is something most of us have experienced as well, that there were some people in class who just seemed to be super smart naturally. Like there was some genetic gift, or their mind, just the way that they were, just the way that they are. They were better in one subject than another. And then you saw people who might have not been as talented naturally at those subjects, but they worked as hard as they could. They spent hours on homework, even outside of homework, studying, trying to get to know the subject the best they could. And there's a lot of gray zones in this question too. And it's something that would take a tremendously long video to cover all of the intricacies and all of the, okay, yes, Chase, but what about this or what about that? So it's really a question that someone could have an hour-long discussion or debate on, which contributes to more success because it's different across different things as well. But from what I've seen, and this is good news, from what I have seen personally in high school, following some of these people that I'm thinking of referencing into now being outside of high school, being outside of college, being in the workforce, tracing these people so far, the individuals who work hard, who work harder than other people, especially if they work significantly harder than other people, but they're not at the top of a talent level, tend to perform the best. So you could then ask, okay, well, what was their talent like? Were they in the top 10, 15, or 20%? If we're to break it down more mathematically or scientifically, from my experience, the people who tend to achieve the most, who tend to earn the highest salaries or wages and have other markers for being successful, might be in the top, they're definitely in the top 50, right? They're not in the bottom 50 of talent. It seems to me that those who are in the top 40 or 30 percentile, so still towards the top, but not nearly at the top, tend to perform the best when paired with an excellent work ethic or working very hard. And there's some reasons for that, especially in society outside of school. If we're looking at it in terms of earning potential, people that I'm thinking about who are in the top 40 or 30th percentile of talent, but have a top 95th plus percentile work ethic, are the most successful because they have ancillary skills in addition to their hard work and their already above average talent. And that makes sense. A lot of the times people who, and I'm generalizing here, there's always exceptions to every rule. People who are not at the top of, let's say, intellectual talent, oftentimes have ancillary skills like people skills. That's one ancillary skill that we could bring up as an example that helps to complement their ability. And then those people stacked with talent and hard work tend to get into positions that pay more because they're able to network. They're able to get to know hiring managers. They're able to get to know people and form relationships with them on a deep level that complements their already existing, like I said, hard work and above average. You don't have to be a freak though, but being above average intellectual talent, let's say, definitely helps to be more successful. But you don't have to be in the top 20. You could even argue top 30th percentile of giftedness. And this is really reassuring because we think of professions that are stereotypical for top performers intellectually to go into, like, let's say, engineering. That includes like computer engineering, software development, things like medicine, things like law. There are other things that I'm missing out on as well, like teaching, being a professor, et cetera, et cetera. But even with a physician's salary, if you only rely on your intellect to secure that job, we all know that those who have smarts that are above average, again, they have a work ethic that is much above average, and they have these other ancillary skills, like people skills, being able to relate to others, being able to help people to get motivated. Those positions, some of those positions, like if we're talking about executive management, that dwarfs positions in society that more so cater to just intellect. So see, you could also say, well, that's obvious because you're stacking hard work with other skills. So if you're to take that away and just have it be hard work or, let's say, talent in a certain domain, again, using the intellection example, which between those two is more important? Well, hard work, I would say, because you're able to find and get yourself into situations that are going to increase your odds of success a lot more than just relying on the crutch of talent. There are a lot of examples of where hard work beats talent that doesn't work hard. What I was getting to in the first part of this video is if you can have a decent amount of talent, again, the example in this video has been intellect. It doesn't have to be intellect. We can say a decent amount of athletic talent, a decent amount of musical talent, a decent amount of yada yada talent. Let's use another example here. Oftentimes, the people that we hear on the radio or some of our favorite artists aren't necessarily the most vocally talented, if we're talking about singers, out of everybody out there. We can find people on YouTube and other platforms that are even better, like way better singers than those that we listen to on the radio. But oftentimes those that we listen to on radio are hard workers. Maybe they have these other ancillary skills like we were talking about. People skills, you could even say good looks, you could even say they're charismatic. You could say people skills, charisma kind of are one and the same. But point being, what takes people to the top level in any skill is skill to begin, very hard work to differentiate themselves, to open the door, to get recognized, to get noticed, to set themselves apart, which is great, and that little third hidden one. So really, which is the ancillary skills. So really, the question between the two, if hard work or talent is more important, again, this is my perspective. I would say hard work is more important, but if you compare hard work with above average talent with other skills, like people skills, like soft skills, that is going to take you to heights that just having talent would never be able to take you to. That's motivating. That should be inspiring. That should make us feel glad, excited, grateful for that fact that success and achievement has more to do with the effort that we put in and the other skills we develop than just the talent by itself. Hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, we will see you in the next video. Thanks. Take care.